What's going on, everybody? My name is Russ, and on this channel we talk about Jeeps and all things off-road vehicle-based adventure. If you're into that kind of thing, make sure to stick around, because in this episode we're going to be doing a complete walk around of my 2015 JK Overland build. Stay tuned. Okay, so about 2 years ago, I released my first walk around video of this particular rig. However, things are just a bit different now. But before I go into all the things that are different about it, I really want to encourage you, if you are brand new to Jeeping or anything like that, do not worry about having all of these modifications just to have them. I have made a lot of these decisions and changes over time because I now know exactly what I like, what I don't like about the rig, where I like to ride as far as trails, and do I rock crawl, do I mud, and all that kind of stuff. And I really want to encourage you to join a Jeep club. Get to know your local Jeeping community. It doesn't matter where you are. I'm sure that there's a Jeep club around. There are a lot of us out there. As a matter of fact, I think the stats are from forever ago that the Jeep is the #1 or #2 most modified vehicle in the country. So yeah, there's a lot of gizmos and gadgets and just accessories and things. So don't feel like you have to spend your hard-earned money on all of those little things. Drive your Jeep stock, especially if you drive it right off the lot from a dealership. All your friends are like, yeah, lift it, put wheels, put tires, all these other kind of things. You don't need to do that unless you know what kind of trails you're going to go to, and unless you really know your rig. It's really important though that you do get like recovery gear and things like that so that you're safe when you go out on the trails. If you have any questions about that, ask me in the comments. I would love to help you out with that. So anyway, let's get into this. Okay, so full disclosure, I don't think I really should go through every single thing from start to finish again. So I'm going to go over the things that have changed in the last 2 years. All of the earlier modifications and things are in the previous video. I'll link that in the description if you want to watch that after this to get a complete list. Or I might just put a complete list of all of the modifications down in the description. So if you just want to see that, that's all that you're here for, then that's fine. There's a list right there in the description. I value your time. So what I'm going to do, so you're not staring at my ugly mug the whole time, is I'm going to flip this camera around and we're just going to start at the front and kind of walk our way through it, right? All right, so this is the first modification. And what I think is probably the, gives me a couple more horsepower maybe. I don't know, that silver black bear off-road windshield bender. Yeah, that's pretty trick. So there's that. I did change the fenders. These are KBD, they're plastic. They are pretty rigid, but they're great. I like them, they're cheap. And the reason why I did that, I'll actually walk you around here to this side, is you'll notice potentially I've got a nice little ripple dent right here. I know a lot of people like to have their Jeep all super shiny and stuff, but nah, I get mine dirty, so that's fine. I was at Windrock and I ended up using my rear fender to pivot around a gigantic boulder, and essentially all of that force hit that rigid steel Smittybilt fender and just transferred all of that force right into the sheet metal. So yeah, I'd rather this absorb something and rip off. They're cheap, they're really easy to install, and plus I saved like probably 80 pounds of weight because those things were stupid heavy. So now let's talk about lighting. I still have the original JW speaker headlights, fog lights. Those are in the previous video. So I have the same winch, same bumper, same hood latches from Rugged Ridge. But I did add the KC C-Series 2-inch C3 pillar lights. I have one on each side. And then usually there's a roof rack up here. It's the same roof rack I've had. That is now, I took that off because if you watch my last video, you'll know that I'm getting ready to send my Jeep out to Motec for a V8 conversion. And I could save a couple $100 in shipping if it was just a little bit shorter. So took care of that. Around the perimeter of the roof rack, I do have some area lights from KC, same thing, C-Series. They're super bright. They're really awesome. I really enjoy them at camp to help set up. Also, another modification, I have this step right here mounted to the door. This is from Smittybilt. I got one for, this is the Atlas version. I have one on this side, one on the other. That just really helps me take down and put away the tent, or set up and put away the tent a lot easier. So the only other modification on the exterior, not the exterior, but whatever, lighting, are these Cobra series taillights. I had the stock ones on there with guards, but these are from HighBeam Off-Road. I really like them. They are super bright LEDs, so it really helps backing up, especially with obviously limited visibility there. Let's see. I didn't modify the inside at all since last time, so yeah, that pretty much covers the outside of the actual body itself. Now I'm gonna flip you around because there's one more thing I got to talk about. Okay, I had to flip you around for the rest of this because the rest of the modifications that I've done to this, are crazy big, right? I mentioned previously that I'm about to put a V8. That's 500 horsepower is going to be going into this vehicle, and I have to make sure that all of the components in the suspension can handle it. So I ended up putting 60s from Teraflex in the front and the rear. So in the rear is a wide, 70 inches wide. Normal axles are JK axles are 67, so it's 3 inches wider overall. It's full float design in the rear as well as the front, and the front has locking hubs. So the rear is called the CRD 60, and the front is the Terra 60. It came with the big brake kit, so if I'm going to be going fast and throwing down a whole lot of power, I got to make sure I can stop as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just start in the front and then kind of walk you through. So I'll flip you back around. Okay. All right, so this is the Terra 60. I've got a heavy duty drag link, heavy duty track bar. Both of those are adjustable, and then also it comes with a tie rod and the big brake kit, which I think I might be able to get in there. You can see a little bit of that, but these axles are insane. I think I added about 1,500 pounds of weight over stock between the front and the rear. I also have the anti-rock on here now, which I absolutely love, not having to disconnect at all when I hit the trails. I've also got limit straps on there. Now I think we can get back there and see those. Not really sure. That's just going to prevent the springs from coming out of the perch, even though I don't think they will, because I do have the speed bumps in there and coil spring retainers. But I got new wheels. I had them on the JK before in a 5-lug pattern, and I absolutely love these. These are the Teraflex Nomad wheels. They have, everybody asked me, I don't know what it is, but everybody asked me, what are those red things? One of them is a inflate, like so air up on this side, and then on this side right here is a deflator valve. Now that deflator valve can be set with an Allen key, so when you air down, you just twist it, and you can air down from say 35 psi to 15 psi in about 30 seconds, and it stops automatically. So it stops on a preset pressure, which is amazing. These wheels are made of I think aircraft grade aluminum, and they can hold, they have a knurled edge, and they can hold up to a 40-inch tire down to 8 psi. They're super strong, super light, and amazing. Now, since I got the big axles, you're gonna have to look and see here. This is an 8-lug pattern. They did that because these are actually lug centric. If you have a 2017 or 2018 and up JK, JL, JT, they're going to be hub centric on these particular axles. They're also unlocking hubs, which means I currently have them unlocked right now. And what that means is when you're driving down the road, all of your gears in the front, your front drive shaft, nothing is spinning. So you're saving a lot of gas and a lot of power that way, because everything's just going to the rear. You're not having to fight that radial mass, which was pretty awesome. When I go off-road, I just lock them up and shift into 4-wheel drive, and I'm all good to go. Underneath, I still have the Falcon adjustable shocks, which I love. I use those all the time. adjust them based on the trail as well as the pressure. I have the Teraflex long arm kit. It's on a 4-inch lift, so it's 3.5 with a puck. This is a weld-in bracket, and I've had these arms for a really long time, but we just changed out the bushings inside for independent rotation bushings, so IR bushings. That means it's not the factory rubber, it's actually a metal sleeve that has got 2 rotating bushings around the outside, so it doesn't bind under flex, or at least it decreases the amount of bind a lot, which helps with everything. So this thing rides super smooth and super silent. Incredibly impressed with that. So let's walk on back to the back. Obviously we got the same wheels and tires, but you'll notice that it looks a little bit different, right? It doesn't lock and unlock. There's no reason for that. In the rear, typically you would have a 5-lug pattern that is a semi-float axle. And what that means is that your tire is actually attached to the axle flange, and then that is supported with one bearing on the inside of the axle tube. Now what this does is this puts a heavy-duty spindle, attaches that to the exterior of the axle tube, and then the axle shaft is right here. So I can take that axle out on the trail with my tires on the ground, replace it, remove it, whatever I need to do. So this wheel is really only responsible, or sorry, this axle end or this hub is not supporting the weight of the vehicle, or sorry, the axle shaft is not supporting the vehicle weight at all. All of that is on the spindle. So all of the power coming from the rear drive shaft into the center differential is only going to be spinning the tires. So it's not having to fight against the weight of the vehicle on one bearing. There are actually several bearings, 2 bearings on the inside of the spindle, which holds this in. And it's awesome. I love it. So yeah, same wheels, air inflator, deflator valves, whatever. They're the same Nomad wheels, and I have the big brake kit, so you can probably see that gigantic rotor back there. I've definitely noticed a difference in stopping power, and I even had the Power Stop Z36 kit on here previously, so this thing can stop on a dime. It's pretty damn good at that. I still have the same shocks and everything in the rear, but I'll let you guys see that again. So I've got the shocks down here, adjustable track bar, all that kind of goodness. And then this is the rear Terra 60, or the CRD 60. So you can see that it is leaned up pretty well, and I have a perfect pinion angle straight coming out of the back of that transfer case. So this thing is lined up and ready for some action. Everything is fully adjustable, so I can dial it in exactly how I need it. So I am really ready. And again, I've got the limit straps up there, if you can see those. That's just going to prevent those springs from falling out. But again, just kind of extra safety precautions. I have spring retainers top and on the bottom of each of those springs, which is pretty cool. Alright, so as you can see, a lot has changed in the past 2 years putting this thing together. I kept everything on the inside exactly the same as it was before. I'm ready for that horsepower to be put in, and ready to send this thing off. So that's probably going to happen in a couple of weeks, but I'm going to be going this weekend to Windrock with guys from Black Barrel Trail Team, some good friends. We're going to go run Trail 16, give this thing the proper shakedown, then clean it up, load it up on a trailer, and it's going to be off. It'll be gone for about 2 months, so you're going to probably get a lot of LJ content from me coming up. I know Brad has the LJ in the shop right now, fixing some O2 sensor things, common issues for the O2 heater and things like that with a 2005 LJ. A lot of TJs have that issue as well. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you on the trail.